Season 2 just released, and they've done a lot of work on patching all of the really good glitches on Modern Warfare Zombies. And surprisingly, they have patched the original way that we do Tombstone. You can no longer keep a tombstone with dashboarding by closing the app or pulling the Ethernet cable while exfilling on either the regular exfil or story mission exfil. I think a lot of us were shocked that they did finally patch this. There was a similar dashboarding method that worked on DMZ that never got patched. So we thought Tombstone might be untouchable, but somehow the devs have figured out how to stop us from doing this. So we were all rushing around today to try and find an after patch, and we do indeed have one. It does have an extra step involved and can be tedious for some casual players, but for those players that like to have all their high tier loot and plenty of money available, then it will be worth it. It is easy to do, but again, just a little bit more time consuming. First step is to gather all the items and money you'd like to have in your tombstone, just like before. If you already have a tombstone on the map, then it will make it a whole lot easier. If you don't have any items, you can easily bring them in or get them from other players, and I'll show you how we did it later on in the video. If you don't have any items, we came in with nothing and one player duplicated everything to the other players. When first starting, if you have a tombstone perk to bring in, then that is fine. That will save you a step, but if you don't have one, that's okay. The first thing I'm going to show you is the method I use without having a tombstone perk on me, but having a tombstone on the map that I want to preserve. And shout out to Serial Glitchers. I believe they're the ones that found this method. They have saved the community. Shout out to those guys. Love those guys. I'll have the link to their YouTube channel down in the description. This new method is a little restricting on easily getting a large backpack and keeping your 3-plate vest. So I've changed the way I do my tombstone now because of this. This makes it so much easier to keep the tombstone active and available every match. I'll show you exactly what I do and where I place my tombstone so that I have easy access to traveling the map and quickly getting the items I need for this new method. I use this building here and I take this zip line up and I keep my tombstone here in the corner. I use this location because I want access to the cranes to the east next to the Warlord Duckabee's location. Those cranes are blocked when she's present, so this building here allows me access all the time. First thing I do if I have a stone on the map is open the stone and collect just the money, and then don't grab any items back out of the tombstone. You're going to leave your tombstone there uncrumbled. You will only have 5 spaces when you enter the game because of how this method works now. I grab the money and then I find a tier 2 buy station in the vicinity, and having this height on the building allows for easily dropping to a nearby buy station, getting what I need and getting out. I buy a medium bag and a 3-plate vest only. Also, if you want to bring in the decoy grenades in your loadout, that really helps. Whenever you hit these buy stations in the tier 2s, they can sometimes be heavily trafficked by zombies, so just throw down those decoys, grab what you need, and get out of there. Then I head back to the stone and grab all the items out of it and then fully crumble the tombstone. The next part is important. I go immediately to the crane next to the building and drop into the red zone and only purchase tombstone perk at the Wonder Fizz. You can hunt around on the map for a closer location for the tombstone perk, but this route to the Wonder Fizz is fast and safe from the crane, and it's always reliable. Once I have tombstone, I go back to the original location where I had the stone, and I make sure I have someone with me or someone nearby to revive me. At this point, I want to have not used any of the items in my backpack that I picked up from the stone because I'm about to down myself and set the stone with those items and money. Right here, you have to completely down, bleed out, and give up. Then you want someone to revive you, and it doesn't matter if you plea or not, it won't make a difference. It doesn't interfere with it, but you can plea to be revived, and that will work if you are solo. However, it might be challenging to get someone to revive you that isn't in your party, so that is something to consider. This is not a solo-friendly method. If you're wanting an optimal location for your tombstone, then doing it solo will be tough. You might have to message people in the game and down and bleed out near other players and hope that they revive you. Once you are revived, your tombstone is fully set. You can spend the money and use all the items in your backpack freely. You can now give money and items to other players at this point so they can set their tombstone if needed. You can play the game freely, but You must not buy Tombstone again if you go and get perks. Be very careful of that. Once you're done with the game and you want to leave, and if you're with other players in a squad, then you need to hit up on the D-pad, if on console, and leave the squad and be solo at that point. Then you just simply need to get downed, fully bleed out, and get the red elimination screen. If you see that, then it worked. You can die and bleed out anywhere on the map. It doesn't matter. You're going to be leaving the game and your tombstone has already been set to that previous location. When you get back into the game, the tombstone will be there with all the items and money like before. You will, however, lose insured weapons like this, and you will lose your backpack every time, and also the ether blades that are in your lethal spot. You will always come back in with a small backpack, and getting a large backpack and trying to maintain that with this method is super time consuming and risky. I have opted for a medium backpack now instead of trying to go into the red zone and get to the buy station with 0 protection and no loadout. The medium pack only has 2 less spots, so that's not a big deal. You get 7 instead of 9, and that's plenty to keep like ether blades, golden plates, legendary tool, a PAP 3 crystal, a wonder weapon. You have lots of money to pack a punch, so you don't really need the crystals. The one bad thing about this method is that you cannot duplicate these items, take them out of the game, and stash them. You can only save them in your tombstone and use them over and over. Your money will slowly deplete, but you can plan for that and find people to help you replenish it. 2 really important things to remember. You have to get a red screen for the tombstone to save. If you do not, it will not work, and that means everyone in your squad needs to die, or you need to leave the squad and be solo and bleed out. Also, if you're in the game and your tombstone's on the map and you haven't gone to collect it yet, and you get down and bleed completely out and someone has to come and revive you, your tombstone will disappear off the map and you'll have to start over, get new items and money, and reset it. This is another reason why I'm using this very careful method and opting for just getting tier 2 items with a medium bag instead of a large. There will be people that don't mind the grind of trying to keep a large bag going, but for me, this helps to eliminate some of the tediousness that this method already has. And shout out to Tag935 and BBK. We went in earlier today looking for optimal locations to put our tombstone now, and there's a couple of places that could work. This is what we're going with right now. And there might be other methods that are discovered that are easier than this. This is just day 1 of us getting the shock of this tombstone being patched, so this is as fast as we could find something. They patched a lot of stuff today. I'm going to make a full video talking about all of the patches, what's changed, and the after patches that we do have available. The zombies definitely took a hit today, but we're trying to salvage what we can, and one of my favorite glitches that I just made a video about was keeping the ether blades every game. Now that does still work, but you can't do it if you're trying to keep a tombstone. That requires you to exfil and dashboard, and we just can't do that right now with this tombstone method. But when we find easier methods, we'll definitely keep you guys updated, and let me know in the comments how you guys feel about these changes that we're seeing here with Tombstone. Do you guys not really care? Does it really affect you wanting to play the game? Let me know down below, and we'll see you guys next video.